The Art of Expressing the Human Body, which I refer to as the Art of Body from now on, is a 250-page A4-sized manual charting Bruce Lee's training methods from the early 60s to his death in 1973. Although this isn't technically authored by Lee himself, his attitude towards body conditioning is very much apparent throughout. As a long-time Lee fan and martial artist, I would consider The Art of Body to be the definitive Lee book by a long shot, even more so than his own Tao of Jeet Kune Do. It's really the must-have book for anyone seeking to understand his approach to training and his overall ideas on fitness, martial or otherwise. The book almost feels like it was written by Lee himself, in a step-by-step manner teaching both beginners and experts how to realise their physical potential. Focusing on form and function, Lee concluded that for complete fitness one needed to work on three areas he considered key, which were strength, endurance and flexibility. In other words, weights, cardio and stretching. His main criticism of the big-chested gym types was that it matters not how big one can flex their muscles, but on how useful those muscles are. Lee's focus was not on massive bulk, but on the marriage of form and function. Various quotes by Lee can be read throughout which support this, as well as the 200+ pictures of him either working out, on set or at home. The book goes into great detail into his routine spanning over a decade, from exercises, weights used, reps, to all the custom equipment he had built to target the muscles beyond the scope of standard gym equipment. It's clear that Lee was meticulous in exercising each muscle, leaving no vulnerabilities or weaknesses. As Chuck Norris quotes early in the book, Bruce had muscles on muscles. Most of the book is written in this fashion, in describing what Bruce was working on and what exercises he was using to get it. His methods were constantly evolving, and this is what I found to be the most valuable teaching, in that training should be less about mindless routines and more about feeling your body and recognising what needs to or what could be developed. Again, we're reminded of the three key areas: strength, endurance and flexibility. No matter how fit you are, there's always something else you could be developing. Midway through the book there is a specific Enter the Dragon routine one can follow in order to craft themselves a similar body to how we see him in the movie, although one would need to acquire a multi-station gym, known at the time as a Marcy circuit trainer, in order to follow this exactly, as well as daily running, stretching and bag work. Basic conditions, as Lee puts it. His body at the time of Enter the Dragon was significantly more ripped than his other movies, and this was directly attributed to the Marcy circuit trainer he had built in his home. The book also goes into Lee's dietary choices. As is expected, Lee very much believed in a balanced diet, although the bulk of his daily calories seemed to come from rice, meat and vegetables, served as several small meals throughout the day. He was also strict to avoid junk, believing that empty calories were of no use to a martial artist. He was big into blending and supplements, but couldn't stand cheese, wondering what Westerners saw in it. The Art of Body contains a host of general fitness information, and anyone remotely into fitness, from the 10 press-ups a day types to elite martial artists, will find something of value, like an exercise they hadn't come across or a specific drill geared towards specific results. The Art of Body is a training manual describing the routines of one of the fittest men to have ever lived. When it came to fitness, Bruce Lee left no stone unturned, and one can't help but think that Bruce was more concerned with elite-level athleticism being the most powerful offence above the martial techniques themselves. As Lee says, you need the power and conditioning to back them up. By that understanding, consider who would win in a fight: a gymnast who trains 4 hours a day for 6 days a week, or a karate man who trains for only 1 hour a week. Ultimately, without fitness, martial arts are nothing. And the overweight guy in your dojo who gets breathless running for the bus knows this, and Lee knew it too, and The Art of Body really drives home this point. It's quite humbling to think that for all his fame and success, Bruce spent most of his time lifting weights and working out. I'll end by repeating once again that there's many good books about or by Bruce Lee, but The Art of Expressing the Human Body is the definitive one if you want to understand how he trained and what brought him to understand why fitness in general was so important to the martial artist. It's something I regularly refer to and no doubt will continue to do so.